In the quiet solitude of his California home, Harry often finds himself gazing at old photographs, moments frozen in time. Among them are snapshots of his children playing on sun-dappled lawns, their laughter echoing faintly in his mind. Yet amid these cherished memories, there's a palpable yearning and an ache for something deeper, something beyond the distant reach of FaceTime calls and fleeting visits. He longs to bridge the gap between generations, to weave the threads of family tightly together across continents and oceans. This desire, born of love and the passage of time, whispers of untold stories and the timeless bond between a father and his children. Prince Harry is reportedly eager for his children to visit the UK and bond with King Charles. Since moving to the United States, Harry and Meghan Markle's children, Archie and Lillibet, have not seen their grandfather regularly. Lillibet, who was born in the USA, last met her grandfather during the Platinum Jubilee. According to a source from Heat magazine, Harry is desperate to bring his kids to the UK for a holiday, allowing them precious bonding time with their grandfather. Harry has been saddened by the limited opportunities for his father to spend time with his grandchildren in person, especially after King Charles's cancer diagnosis. Despite regular FaceTime calls, the king is eager to strengthen his relationship with the youngsters. Prince Harry's sporadic efforts to maintain familial ties through occasional visits and digital communications starkly contrast with the traditional role expected of a British royal family member. Historically, royals have shown a steadfast commitment to duty, participating in public engagements and familial obligations regardless of geographical challenges. This contrast highlights Harry's prioritization of personal autonomy over the enduring responsibilities intrinsic to his lineage. His selective engagement with familial obligations raises fundamental questions about his commitment to upholding royal traditions. Amidst his chosen path of deviating from established norms, Harry highlights a tension between modern autonomy and historical duty, challenging perceptions of his role within the royal framework. Despite advocating for transparency and familial closeness, Prince Harry's relocation to the United States has unintentionally isolated his children, Archie and Lillibet, from their British heritage. While digital tools facilitate virtual connections, they cannot replace the enriching experiences of physical presence and shared traditions. Harry's desire for his children to bond with King Charles through occasional visits underscores a poignant irony, the unintentional estrangement caused by his deliberate departure from structured royal responsibilities. This irony not only highlights the unintended consequences of personal choices, but also prompts reflection on the broader implications for generational continuity and familial legacy within the royal family. Prince Harry's public declarations of familial longing and advocacy for intergenerational bonds appear paradoxical when juxtaposed with his voluntary withdrawal from formal royal duties. While emphasizing the importance of family unity and heritage, Harry's actions reveal a gap between his words and reality. His choice to prioritize personal autonomy and distance from royal duties casts doubt on the sincerity of his family's sentiments. This selective sentimentality raises critical questions about the authenticity of Harry's commitment to preserving royal traditions beyond superficial gestures. It underscores a broader societal tension between personal freedom and inherited responsibility, prompting scrutiny of Harry's evolving role and impact within the royal family's historical narrative. Despite occasional visits and virtual interactions, the lack of consistent physical presence for his children to connect with their royal lineage has significant implications. Symbolic gestures like attending milestone events or sporadic visits may momentarily bridge familial gaps, but fail to instill a deep appreciation for enduring traditions and responsibilities. Prince Harry's sporadic engagement with royal duties and family obligations reflects a symbolic rather than substantive approach to preserving family bonds and heritage. This discrepancy highlights broader implications for the continuity of the royal legacy through future generations, challenging perceptions of Harry's role as a custodian of tradition and family cohesion. By prioritizing personal fulfillment and autonomy over structured royal responsibilities, Prince Harry risks weakening the continuity of his royal legacy and family connections. His decision to relocate abroad and distance himself from traditional expectations mirrors a broader societal trend towards individualism and self-fulfillment. However, this choice raises profound questions about the lasting impact on Harry's children, who may face a fragmented understanding of their royal heritage and responsibilities. The consequences of Harry's personal choices extend beyond family dynamics to shape public perceptions of royal duty and legacy. This challenges traditional narratives of duty-bound service and generational continuity within the royal family, prompting reflection on the monarchy's evolving role in contemporary society. His selective approach to family ties and departure from established norms raise broader questions about the continuity of royal legacy and the authenticity of familial sentiments. However, it's important to note that as non-working members of the royal family, Harry and Meghan Markle no longer receive taxpayer-funded security protection, as they did when they were actively engaged in royal duties. This change in security arrangements has sparked debate, with critics arguing that they should now bear the cost of their own security. Previously, their security costs were covered by public funds due to their roles within the monarchy, which included official engagements and representing the crown. Now that they have chosen to step back from these responsibilities and pursue independent ventures such as philanthropy and media projects, it's expected that they should finance their security privately. Critics contend that the couple should not seek public sympathy or complain about security issues, given their substantial personal wealth and ability to cover their own protection costs. The debate often revolves around the perceived entitlement or privilege associated with expecting ongoing taxpayer-funded security despite their exit from official royal duties. Advocates of this perspective argue that assuming responsibility for their security costs would align with their newfound independence and autonomy outside traditional royal constraints. It would also promote a fairer distribution of financial resources, where those who can afford private security services bear the costs instead of relying on public funds meant for essential services. In conclusion, while Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's transition away from working royal roles has granted them greater freedom and autonomy, it has also necessitated a reconsideration of their security arrangements. Critics are clear in their expectation if they require security protection, they should financially support it themselves rather than expecting continued taxpayer assistance. This position underscores broader discussions about public funding, personal accountability, and the evolving role of the monarchy in modern society. It's clear Harry wants to bring his children home to meet their grandfather, Charles, but what about Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, the other grandpa Harry hasn't even met? Thomas, unlike Charles, isn't wealthy or titled. Meghan reportedly hasn't spoken to her father since or before 2016, around 8 years ago when she met Harry and seemingly cut ties with Thomas. Shortly after Meghan prevented her father and Harry from meeting at the start of their relationship, they never met at all. It makes you wonder why nothing to do with old photos or anything just before their wedding, this happened, I believe. Why would someone prevent their father from meeting their future husband? And why completely cut out your own father who cared for you, funded your education, and more, seemingly forever? Regarding Archie and Lillibet's potential return to the UK, it's important to note that as private citizens, Harry and Meghan Markle's children would need passports, just like any other individuals traveling internationally. This requirement is standard for minors traveling with their parents across borders. Prince Harry, despite his former royal status, cannot use his previous privileges or connections to expedite this process. Obtaining passports for his children would involve submitting necessary documents such as birth certificates and photographs as required by relevant authorities. This ensures compliance with international travel regulations and maintains the integrity of passport issuance procedures. The need for passports underscores the family's transition from their previous roles as working royals to their current status as private individuals. It also signifies a broader shift in their responsibilities, where they must independently navigate administrative processes without the logistical support previously provided by royal household staff. Moreover, the requirement for passports underscores the practical aspects of international travel for private citizens, regardless of their previous affiliations or titles. It emphasizes equal treatment under legal and bureaucratic frameworks, ensuring uniform adherence to security and regulatory standards. In essence, while Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children may have enjoyed certain privileges in the past due to their royal connections, their current status necessitates compliance with standard protocols, including obtaining passports for international travel. This requirement underscores their transition to a life outside the formalities of royal duties, where personal responsibilities and procedural compliance take precedence in everyday matters like travel arrangements. Meghan and Harry will soon face consequences. He had the chance in May to stay with and see the king, but he chose not to. Instead, his representatives released a statement blaming the king's busy schedule. The king offered Harry a palace residence with armed guards so they could meet during his short visit. However, Harry portrayed the king as the bad guy and hid in a hotel instead of meeting. He had claimed he wanted to meet. When news of the king's cancer came out, Harry couldn't hold back. He shared his plans and talked about future visits that never happened and won't happen. He dangled his children like a carrot to a horse, but Charles didn't fall for it. Now they're working on Plan B, buying a house near the king in the UK. What's the point if they're not bringing the kids? Harry, if you think public opinion is against you now, just wait. Without reconciling with your other grandpa, Thomas Markle, you can't imagine the backlash that will come. You'll be overwhelmed. It's strange they want to reconcile with the royal family but not Thomas Markle, despite all the alleged wrongs of the royal family. I don't believe those either. Compared to the royal family, Thomas Markle is practically an angel. Why didn't Meghan ever introduce Harry to her dad? Maybe she's hiding something, or perhaps her mom, due to her prison term, doesn't know either. This whole need for the children to spend time with King Charles has only come up since he announced his cancer diagnosis. It seems more about inheritance. Close sources to Harry and Meghan say they have many friends, including children, and want their kids to spend time with their cousins too. There could be an issue, though. While some of the royals might accept the children, they might not tolerate the parents. This might be Harry's way of sneaking back into the royal family and reclaiming his old privileges and security. King Charles should be cautious not to fall into this trap, as it could have serious consequences. Harry needs to understand that there's a big issue with his desire for his children to see their grandfather. Harry, you need to change your ways and apologize to the Queen. You can't expect to fly over whenever you want and expect the king to be available. You must send a request to his office at least a month in advance. Wake up, lad. It's up to you to be honest. Actions have consequences. What did he expect after the Oprah interview and other controversies? There were many invites from the Queen after the children were born that were declined. The Sussexes have returned several times but chose not to bring the kids except for the Jubilee. Then, they complained when others didn't cancel plans to attend a last-minute gathering for their daughter. It's well known that Charles avoids calling Harry because he doesn't know who might be listening in or if the call could be recorded and edited, so it's unlikely that they use FaceTime to stay in touch. However, the palace doesn't deny the twins' claims about using FaceTime, letting them save face. Do we even know if the king uses a cell phone, looks at a computer, or reads personal emails? Probably not, because the twins would likely record every moment, text, email, and letter. They need this to show they still have a connection with the royal family and for material for their next book. It's best for the royal family to keep ignoring their accusations. It's worked so far. Why change? The royals haven't visited the UK yet. Why is that, Harry? Why the sudden urgency? Harry's had 5 years to realize Archie isn't part of the royal family and 3 years for Lily. Bringing them over for a holiday, how much British culture could they absorb in just 2 or 3 weeks? I always thought they were allowed out to experience it. This feels like another attempt at emotional manipulation. Oh, the poor grandfather. Oh, the poor children or the poor other grandfather. What about the wife's father? If it's not that, it's their need to refresh their royal family connection. They need lots of saleable photos. It seems like PR hype from the Sussex team. Considering Harry has shown nothing but contempt for his family, why is he so eager for his children to meet his father? If the royal family is as toxic as he says, wouldn't a parent protect their children from that kind of environment? Maybe he's looking for more Netflix content and trying to win over his father and family members. Harry could have brought his children to the UK anytime to spend time with their grandfather. He chose not to. Most people won't be fooled by this article. It's old news and shows Harry still trying to play the victim. Harry, it's all your choice. Does he ever consider the consequences of his actions? Why insult his stepmother and expect a good relationship with his father? They clearly love each other. Also, why insult his brother's wife and claim he can't bring the kids to the UK because of his status? This involves his wife and his mother-in-law, Doria. Harry, you will find out how unkind the UK public can be if you ever get what you want. We don't want our taxes paying for something unnecessary, including for you and your family in Montecito. There's still no proof that the children are theirs. Maybe this mystery is delaying the inevitable divorce. Harry isn't happy, but he helped create his current situation. Is it really sad? Meghan's brother claims she doesn't like children and wouldn't risk her figure with pregnancy. Small children absorb emotions around them. They likely feel their mother's ill will toward both sets of grandparents, except maybe Doria. Harry might be desperate, but Meghan isn't. There's an article in Vanity Fair where Meghan says they're not looking for a property in the UK. Are the cracks starting to show, or is Harry growing a backbone? Why now? Henry has kept the Invis separate right from the start and continues to do so. Is he hoping his papa will set up a trust fund for children he's never met? Harry always needs a financial motive, and using his very ill father, who is battling cancer, shows his clear lack of character and decency. Try using Charlie Spencer Henry and see how far that gets you. You both seem very similar. I truly hope you feel the pain you've caused yourself and your children. It only makes things worse. The endless presence of Meghan and Harry's children is incredibly frustrating. The media and social networks constantly dig into stories and rumors about Archie and Lillibet every day, which tires and bores the public. We have to endure this ongoing drama instead of focusing on more important and urgent topics. Meghan and Harry seem unaware of the exhaustion and frustration they're causing the public. I received a challenge over a comment I made about whether the Queen had given permission for the Sussexes to use her pet name, Lillette. My response was brief and honest, stating I didn't know if Lillette existed or if she met the requirements of the letter's patent. This comment sparked immediate opposition. Since I'm not quick at responding, I promised to revisit this topic in a video, which I'm about to do. I'll start by explaining why I doubt that both of the Sussex children are real or are biological descendants of Meghan and Harry. They lied to Oprah, claiming they got married 3 days before their official wedding, making the public ceremony just for show. While this might have been their truth, the Archbishop of Canterbury debunked it, revealing it was a lie. He was visibly upset when he found out. The Sussexes often twist the truth to support their arguments against the royals. They see the royals as their adversaries, believing them to be a threat to their well-being. Given this, how can I trust anything else they claim? Is it true? Are the children real? On Oprah, they also mentioned someone in the royal family expressing concerns about Archie's race, calling that person a racist. Yet they refused to reveal who it was, stating that only the royals and a few others knew this person's identity to protect their reputation. How did this information reach Danish translators? The story becomes more complicated with the mention of Charles and Catherine. Providing more examples would be a waste of time. Therefore, I cannot be certain that the Sussex children exist or that they carry the DNA of both their parents. I suspect the children might be involved only as surrogate grandchildren, meaning they have no legitimate claim to the UK monarchy. Even if legally adopted by the Sussexes, I doubt they are their biological children. The Sussexes haven't provided any evidence to the public on this matter. Birth certificates can be questioned for various reasons, but DNA testing is often used in legal cases to determine parentage. The DNA provides undeniable proof. The Sussexes have chosen not to release this information to the public. Meghan has openly shared that her DNA test revealed she is 43% Nigerian, among other nationalities. So why not share the children's DNA results too? Why not use the children's DNA? Is it too personal? Catherine openly shared her cancer diagnosis, which is deeply personal. If Catherine can discuss such a private matter, why can't Meghan Markle, who claims to be a feminist, show the same bravery? It's hard to see why proving a valid argument would be a problem, especially if it could inspire women to seek and publicly prove the truth for any allegations made against them. I'm not the only one with doubts about the reality of these children. I suspect the king already knows what has happened. I'm certain that discreet individuals have already revealed the truth. He has access to superb lawyers and resources M15 and M16, and I have no doubt that he has disclosed the information. It appears to me, however, that the king is engaging in what is known as the long game, and that everything will eventually be brought into the open. I have the impression that he is a man of exceptional intelligence who is aware of what he is doing. The virtue of patience is one of his many. At this point, I will proceed to the second part of my response, which is to determine whether or not Lillibet exists in accordance with the terms that are provided in the letters patent. Without a doubt, the individual who was able to identify the children of Sussex, from my point of view, there is no reason for us to proceed any further than that. There is only one letters patent that has been acknowledged as being relevant to the Sussex case to this day, and that is King George V's letters patent, which was issued in 1917. If this person has been following Quora, then this is the only letters patent that there is. To reiterate, this is not an essay on the law of succession in the United Kingdom. Rather, it is a response to a question. It's possible that my question was not explicit enough, which is what bothered this individual. It is comprehended. In the next sentence, he asserts that letters patent have nothing to do with succession. Given his position as an authority, it is possible that he is correct. However, I will present my perspective, which is more modest. The phrase tag letters patent line of succession blog should be searched for in Google. Under the topic, royal titles decoded, what makes a prince or princess. Additionally, there is a subheading entitled Modern Adjustments Queen Elizabeth LL's 2012 Update that states the following: Queen Elizabeth L's update to the royal title in 2012 before the birth of Prince William's children was another significant modification through the letters patent of 2012. It was decided that not only the oldest son of the Prince of Wales would be entitled to the title of His Royal Highness and styled as Prince or Princess, but all the descendants of the Prince of Wales' eldest son would also receive these titles. This was done to prepare for changes brought about by the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013. This act eliminated male primogeniture, ensuring that the firstborn child of the Prince of Wales, regardless of gender, would be the direct heir to the throne. Without this change, Prince William's first child, even if a girl, would have been the heir to the throne, while her younger brother would have been a prince. Although the terms letters patent and succession are not interchangeable, they are connected in the context of these changes and work together. Next, there is an article by Jane Barr titled, Why Do I Think Archie and Lillibet Are Not Prince and Princess, published on September 9th, 2022. Although it's a bit outdated and references the Queen, it's still an entertaining read and worth your time. Barr does a great job of describing the situation. Additionally, she critiques what she believes will be the resolution of the Sussex children's titles and their entitlement to be His or Her Royal Highness. The issue began with the marriage of Edward and Sophie when the Queen decided their children would not receive the HRH title. This led to a constitutional dispute about whether the children legally have the HRH title or simply choose not to use it, much like Meghan and Harry. There is also the possibility that their titles were officially terminated by the Queen's statement at the time of the marriage. Barr argues that as the children of a monarch, they would have been His or Her Royal Highnesses. However, according to the pleasure of the sovereign at their birth, they either do not use the HRH title or never had it legally. My best guess is that this aligns with Charles's plans to simplify the monarchy, something he has been working on. It was expected that Harry would eventually marry and have children, so it's puzzling why the Queen did not include his children in the line of succession, as she did with William's children. She simply needed to declare that all grandchildren of the Prince of Wales in the male line would be included. However, the Queen did not do this before Meghan Markle expressed her concerns about racism. In conclusion, Barr argues that Charles needs to actively grant the title of His or Her Royal Highness to elevate the Sussex children to this status. This is because the letters patent is a legal instrument that limits the authority to grant these titles. In other words, to change what his mother established in 2012, Charles wanted to limit the number of people eligible for the HRH title. If all non-royal children were suddenly made princes and princesses, this goal would be defeated. Barr suggests that the disagreement between the Sussexes and Oprah stemmed from Charles informing them that their children would not be given the HRH title at birth because he would not issue letters patent if he became king. Barr argues that this information caused the disagreement. Put simply, there will be no retroactive status back to 1917. If the Sussex children's parents moved to the United States and ceased representing the crown, Charles likely saw no reason to grant them the HRH title. Meghan mentioned a debate about titles when Archie was born, with some believing he should inherit it like Edward and Sophie's children did. The Sussexes refused to accept what seemed fair, especially considering the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh's role in symbolizing the monarchy. Conversely, the Duke of Sussex, Charles's son, declined to sing the national anthem at his father's coronation. Barr argues that the entitlement to his Royal Highness status doesn't apply retroactively. According to her, one can be born with his Royal Highness status or have it conferred upon them deliberately. She emphasizes that it's not something that happens by chance, though this is her personal perspective. With that said, I could be mistaken about what the future holds. Only time will tell what will unfold. It's appropriate for Barr to present an alternative viewpoint. I believe the king will make a decision when he's ready, and in the meantime, the letters patent from 1917 will be considered sufficient. Additionally, I think the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are fortunate to have a king who is respectful and strives to accommodate them while maintaining appropriate boundaries. In another time, the Sussexes might have faced charges of treason. What else can we call the Oprah interview? I was truly surprised by Oprah's involvement in this fraud. If the Sussex children are not what they claim, and if there are 17 lies of defamation, why doesn't Harry try to buy a home in the UK now? He may want to return to his homeland, but he can't. Therefore, he gave up his right to return to his family and his people. Did Meghan want to modernize the monarchy on her own? At this point, she can build her own monarchy separate from Britain, starting from scratch. I just hope both of you succeed. Meghan's pregnancy is simply absurd due to activities like intimacy, drug use, drinking, and others that bring her closer to her husband. Harry has developed a deep bond with his wife. He's a weak and malicious person who enjoys hurting others. Changing people's feelings is solely for his own pleasure. In this environment, the children are gradually introduced to the world around them, starting with a small part of it. The second time around, she pretends to be pregnant. This is because her family has rejected her and her ex-husband has left her. Even the idea of becoming pregnant is painful. Her success in pursuing Harry is due to his wealth and fame. Only after telling him she's expecting do they plan to marry. One way people connect deeply is through emotional bonds, which deeply affected Harry. Dealing with this issue will be challenging for him and the rest of the family. She is with a partner who is flawed, lacking intelligence, dependent on others, dishonest and deceitful, creating unpleasant situations, yet they complement each other well. According to sources, there's speculation that their children might have been adopted or they may not even exist. Which perspective do you lean towards? Recently, a YouTube video made me question Meghan's pregnancy when she was supposed to be carrying Archie, and I believe she was indeed pregnant at the time. She traveled to a number of locations with senior citizens and the pets that they cherished greatly. Anyway, she was at least 7 months pregnant. She was wearing extremely high heels and she was able to squat with her knees together and make a fuss of a dog before getting up on her own. However, when she did so, there was a loud popping noise that appeared to be a moon bump popping out. She was wearing extremely high heels. After that, I started to have the suspicion that she was trying to fake the pregnancy. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I want to know what you think about these issues. Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye and see you again in the next videos.